Well, I hope he goes for a different strategy.
Yeah.
I really believe that the best players are those who can adapt to a situation.
Absolutely.
And, using the exact same strategy is something that would be disappointing to me. But I expect if he does use what we consider to be the same strategy, he will definitely be tweaking a couple things here and there so that, although it may seem the same to us, I'm sure he will change something up.
So for those of you just joining us, I am Jadius.
Yeah, this is Bass.
And we are in the Wood League, and so are you. And today we are bringing you the Boss Arena Cup number 3. This is Game 2 of the first semifinal between Chronopolis, the Protoss, and Kim Taeyeon, the Blue Terran. And this is an IC Cup match, Cup map. Excuse me if you don't recognize it right now. This is a tournament map. All IC Cup maps being used in this tournament.
So Jadius, the last game we watched was on this map as well. And I'm not sure if you noticed these strange tiny mineral fields here that sort of act as a wall. What do you think of that?
Haven't experienced anything like that before. I'm not exactly sure the thinking between it. Maybe someone can write in and comment and tell us what those are for. That's new to me.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems to add like a little bit of a choke point here, where there wouldn't be if those minerals were already mined out, if they were not there at all. But it's just really odd to me.
Yeah,
anyways,
seemed like Kim Taeyeon used them to his advantage with his bunker placement in the last game. Didn't exactly work out for him, but he seemed to be aware of them and aware of their placements. So they obviously served a purpose to him.
Ooh, Chronopolis not having nearly as successful a probe harass here. This probe nearly died, down to 5 hit points.
Yeah, Kim Taeyeon not going to lose another worker to another probe harass. Meanwhile,
notice he is attacking Chronopolis' buildings again, just getting into his head, Chronopolis hears he's under attack within the first 2 minutes of the game. You know how that makes you feel.
Yeah, it can be very, very effective when you're forced to repeatedly pull workers off the line, especially with Protoss harassment. If you can just kind of back away, get your shields to regen, and then come back for more, it gets your mind off the game. It gets your build order is all in shambles. In fact, Kim Taeyeon losing a worker in game 1. Like I said, it really puts you off your build order, and sometimes you don't ever recover. Right now we got a little observer lag from Stellife, and hoping.
I believe Stellife is actually one of the finalists who will be playing in the next game. That may have been a result of the StarCraft 2 tab out fail glitch, which causes, for some computers, a long delay after tabbing out to Windows and tabbing back in.
Absolutely. Stellife a little bit bored with this match, wanted to look at some porn or something like that, and the Alt-Tab monster got him and lagged us up. But we're back. Yeah. The game is back right
See, that's
now.
why I got 2 computers side by side, one streaming porn constantly, and one streaming StarCraft. It's perfect.
That's the way you got to do it. That's really the only thing. Alt-tabbing is just not practical. So now Kim Taeyeon bringing out Marauders. We didn't see Marauders in the first game. We saw a lot of Stalkers being shoved down his throat from Chronopolis in the first game. So maybe a good adaptive strategy here for the Terran. Another Stargate going down in that kind of hidden pocket of Chronopolis' base. So similar strategy for Chronopolis. So like we were talking about at the beginning of the game, doesn't look like Chronopolis really changing much here. Building Stalkers, going for maybe the fast Void Ray like we saw in the first game, and forcing the Terran to adapt to him.
Yep. Kim Taeyeon taking a bit of a different strategy in all senses of the word here. Choosing not to be the defensive player this game and instead moving out. He's not going straight towards Chronopolis' base, but he's taking a side. Is this a 4-player map or is this a 2-player map? It must be 2 players. based on the structure of
I
it.
believe it's two-player, and I think he's probably looking for proxies right now before heading out and testing the waters and seeing what he can do offensively. I think he's looking for proxies
Okay, yeah,
behind
makes
mineral
sense.
lines. One of the best places to hide them behind the mineral lines, because usually when you do enter a natural expansion behind the mineral lines is the only area that remains shadowed out for the longest amount of time.
Chronopolis moving out a probe here, who's going to thwart the surprise attack, and this SCV will go down. Kim Taeyong reconsidering whether he should be attacking at this point.
Yeah, maybe it took a little long looking for those proxies, but I know as a Terran player it can be very intimidating to think, what are they doing? Are they warping in things right now? I got to find out. I can't leave my base. I can't go far away from my base without knowing this for sure. So maybe, just a few seconds too long with that attack. Chronopolis is going to see it with this observer, and with this concave formation here from the Stalkers.
Here.
It's not going to be good, but he does have Stim Pack. He does have Stim Pack. Stalker is going to kind of retreat, and he's going to take a lot of things down. He will lose his main force. I don't know what the resource trade-off was there. Stim Pack did work, a little bit. Got quite a bit of those Stalkers down.
Or Kim Taeyong came ahead big time in that battle. Chronopolis lost 875 resources worth of units, and Kim Taeyong only lost 600.
Great, thanks for that. Bayes and Roarman answered us a little while ago. This is indeed a two-player map.
We got some lag calling here. And I suppose people are being booted from the game left and right. As far as I can tell, I'm not the one lagging it up, I guess. Not sure what's going on here.
Well, let's hope the Wood League isn't lagging this up. I don't think that we are. The Wood League never lags. Come on now. And,
well, you do have that super powerful internet connection, as I recall, JD.
And so the observer gonna take a spot, going to see that the natural expansion hasn't been taken, but the turtling has more or less begun, much like the first game. And a missile turret going to go up here. Maybe he feels. Oh, he did see the little ripples in the sky. Did detect that observer, and I think that observer probably went down before seeing these two medevacs come on to the scene. So maybe this medevac rush going to be a surprise as intended for Kim Taeyong. And like we said, new strategy from the Terran who lost the first game. This is exactly what he needs to do: hit the Protoss with things that he's never that he didn't see in the first game. And the Protoss basically, build for build, unit for unit, sticking with the same thing, except for maybe with the exception of the Immortal. But Colossi coming out again for the Protoss.
Well, is an Immortal a counter for Marauders? Is that what they're for?
Immortal, a very, very, very strong unit, counters a lot of things. Marauders being one of them. Tanks, big, beefy units. Very hard.
Chronopolis moving out, and now the drop going into the back of his base. He's got no cannons up in the back. A lot of these workers are going to die quickly.
And this is going to be a sweep and drop for the Terran. Very interesting to see that. He didn't want to cluster his units. Maybe a mistake now, considering the Colossi coming out.
Gets away with one hit point, but now it's going to die.
It will die to a Hellion. How often do you see that? A Hellion taking down a Colossus, the hero Hellion. And Kim Taeyong going to be content with to take these medevacs, having disturbed Chronopolis' mining.
Chronopolis lost a lot of workers there, but he still has a lot of workers. I'm not sure how saturated his minerals were before that attack, but I would have to say they were oversaturated because he still has so many.
Yeah, worker edge now definitely with the Terran as he's getting up his natural expansion to kind of spread out evenly his workers. Worker edge was definitely benefiting the Protoss in the first game, so you got to say that the edge now moving towards the Terran again, and he's gonna see if he can even up this series. Both of these players getting their natural expansions right now.
Yeah, Kim Taeyong way ahead in income, 1,000 to 560, going up to 1,100 now with additional mules being dropped.
I like this from Kim Taeyong, having seen the Colossi. Maybe Chronopolis won't stick with the same strategy. He does have another Colossi out, but Kim Taeyong building up the Vikings.
Kim Taeyong with now 6 medevacs. Do you agree with that very large squadron of medevacs, Jadius?
He probably queued up 4 more when he went in for that initial drop. Maybe a little overzealously clicking those medevacs could have.
Oh, I thought Chronopolis was going to squeak by Kim Taeyong's army there and attack his expansion, but no, he chose to engage the army instead.
Kim Taeyeon trying to move out into a concave formation probably got more of his units killed than it saved. This looks like advantage goes to the Protoss, especially with that Immortal soaking up so many shots, trying to bring SCVs into the battle to repair the Hellion, but doesn't look good for the Terran here. And God, this is, deja vu, different strategy, but it's going to be a counterattack that puts the Terran up against it once again.
I wouldn't count Kim Taeyeon out yet. He's got a lot of extra Marauders and Vikings waiting in his base here.
No, not counting him out. I'm just saying, he's going to have to turn away this counterattack, and wasn't able to do that in the first game. Probes on their way to begin the proxy once again. But yeah, I think you're right, Bayes. I think there's a good enough reinforcement production here from the Terran to be able to push him back. That Colossus going down, which is exactly what needed to happen. Those medevacs doing their job here.
Stop attacking this Immortal. He will soak up all that damage, like you were saying, and I think it's more important that he takes down the Stalkers.
Another Colossus coming. I'd like to see Kim Taeyeon go to tanks right now. I'd like to see him have something beefier that isn't so dependent on the medevacs, because the medevacs will go down. We've gone from
maybe move to mech.
We've gone from 6 to 1 medevac after those 2 encounters.
Exactly, and the question I have is how much did the medevacs actually do during that battle?
I think they did quite a bit. I mean, I would have liked to see, some mech being integrated, but I think if two of those medevacs had been Vikings, it would have been tough. The Colossus would have gone down, but those ground units would have died very, very quickly. I mean,
absolutely.
It's hard to call.